The Solomonic Circle is an enigmatic and little-known sect within the Jewish Kabbalistic tradition, deeply rooted in the mystical and esoteric teachings of King Solomon. Unlike mainstream Kabbalah, which primarily focuses on divine meditation, numerology, and achieving higher states of consciousness. The Solomonic Circle is said to have been a highly secretive society dedicated to the practice of advanced theurgy, angelic communication, and the invocation of divine forces through hidden rituals. According to historical whispers and obscure manuscripts, the sect's origins trace back to medieval Europe, but its lineage claims a far more ancient heritage, linking it directly to the time of the biblical King Solomon himself. The roots of the Solomonic Circle lie in the legendary figure of King Solomon, who, according to Jewish tradition, was granted divine wisdom by God and was capable of controlling spirits, demons, and angels through a mystical ring. This ring, known as the Seal of Solomon, supposedly allowed him to command supernatural entities and gain access to hidden knowledge. The sect claims that certain writings, now lost or deeply buried in Kabbalistic lore, contained instructions that Solomon passed down to a select group of disciples who were entrusted with preserving and expanding this sacred wisdom. During the Middle Ages, Jewish communities in Spain, France, and Italy became centers of esoteric studies, and it was here that the Solomonic Circle is believed to have emerged in secrecy. Drawing upon earlier Kabbalistic texts such as the Sefer Yetzirah, Book of Creation, and the Zohar, Book of Splendor, the sect is said to have developed an elaborate system of magical rituals, many of which were centered on divine names, angelic hierarchies, and sacred geometry. Unlike the more philosophical schools of Kabbalah that emphasized spiritual ascent through contemplation, the Solomonic Circle focused on practical applications of divine power through hidden ceremonies. The Solomonic Circle was not an open or widely known society. Membership was highly selective and often required years of rigorous study and devotion to Jewish mystical teachings before an initiate could be considered for inclusion. The process of selection was shrouded in secrecy, with new members reportedly undergoing intense purification rituals, fasting, and periods of solitude to prepare their minds and bodies for the sacred knowledge they were about to receive. The hierarchy of the sect was structured into three main tiers: novices. These were the initial aspirants who demonstrated an affinity for Kabbalistic wisdom. They were taught basic Hebrew mysticism, the significance of divine names, and introductory meditation practices. Adept scholars. After years of dedication, members who showed promise were introduced to deeper levels of knowledge, including angelic sigils, incantations, and ritualistic diagrams. At this stage, they would also begin studying the mystical properties of the Hebrew alphabet and sacred numerology. The inner circle, the highest level of initiation, reserved for those who had mastered the teachings and could actively perform Solomonic theurgy. These individuals were entrusted with the sect's most guarded secrets, including rituals said to summon celestial beings or control malevolent spirits. The rituals of the Solomonic Circle were designed to establish communication with angels, divine messengers, and other supernatural entities. Unlike the dark magic associated with European grimoires, the sect's practices were intended to be aligned with divine will, ensuring that the power obtained was used for wisdom, healing, and protection. Many of these rituals required strict adherence to purity laws, including abstinence from worldly distractions, extended prayer sessions, and the recitation of divine names in specific sequences. One of the most famous rites associated with the sect was the invocation of Metatron, an angelic figure often described as the celestial scribe and intermediary between God and humanity. This complex ritual involved drawing sacred geometric patterns on parchment, performing incantations in ancient Hebrew, and burning specific herbs believed to attract spiritual energies. The purpose of this invocation was to seek divine guidance and revelations, particularly in moments of crisis or uncertainty. Another powerful ritual was the rite of the divine seal, inspired by the legendary Seal of Solomon. This ceremony was intended to protect individuals or places from malevolent spirits and curses. Practitioners would inscribe the six-pointed star, later associated with the Star of David, with sacred Hebrew letters and perform an elaborate circling movement around the targeted area while chanting specific psalms. This practice was rumored to have been used to protect Jewish communities from persecution during times of political turmoil. The summoning of the Shem HaMepharash, the 72-letter name of God, was one of the sect's most closely guarded secrets. According to mystical teachings, the divine name held the key to immense supernatural power, allowing the practitioner to manipulate reality itself. However, misuse of this knowledge was considered extremely dangerous, with stories warning of individuals who had perished or gone mad after attempting the ritual without proper preparation. Despite its secrecy, the Solomonic Circle eventually began to fade into obscurity. There are multiple theories about its decline. Some scholars suggest that the rise of rabbinical opposition to practical Kabbalah, which viewed such mystical practices as dangerous or bordering on forbidden sorcery, led to the sect's dissolution. Others believe that members of the circle were persecuted during the Spanish Inquisition, which targeted Jewish mystics and accused them of engaging in heretical or supernatural activities. A more esoteric theory proposes that the sect chose to deliberately erase its traces from historical records, ensuring that only a few worthy individuals could continue its lineage in absolute secrecy. Some modern Kabbalists and occult scholars speculate that remnants of the Solomonic Circle may still exist today, hidden in small, exclusive groups that continue to practice these ancient rites in secrecy. Although the Solomonic Circle has largely vanished from recorded history, its influence can still be traced in various mystical traditions. The Solomonic magical system has left an imprint on later esoteric practices, including European grimoires such as the Key of Solomon and the Lesser Key of Solomon, which detail ceremonial magic techniques resembling those of the sect. Additionally, aspects of the circle's rituals, such as angelic invocations and divine name chanting, can be found in certain branches of contemporary Kabbalistic mysticism. The concept of the Solomonic Temple, a metaphorical spiritual structure where the divine presence resides, has also persisted in Jewish mysticism. Some believe that modern movements within Kabbalah, particularly those focused on theurgical practices, owe their origins to the teachings once guarded by the Solomonic Circle. Whether or not the sect still exists today remains a matter of speculation, but its legacy continues to inspire those who seek the deeper mysteries of the universe. The Solomonic Circle stands as a fascinating and mysterious chapter in the history of Jewish mysticism, combining elements of angelic invocation, sacred geometry, and divine communication. This secretive sect pursued knowledge that few dared to explore. While its rituals and members have faded into the shadows of history, the echoes of its wisdom can still be found in the esoteric traditions that followed. Whether lost to time or hidden in the folds of secrecy, the legacy of the Solomonic Circle endures as a reminder of the vast and intricate world of Kabbalistic mysticism.